Episode of the Otaku Crew podcast, your simple-go-lucky podcast discussing the world of anime from mainstream topics to topics you might not have considered. If you want to join us on this journey, please take a second to follow or subscribe. We can be found anywhere where podcasts are found, or even on YouTube if you want to see the fun animations that go with our lovely episodes. Those are always funny. If you want to go a little bit further, you can join us on our Discord channel where we post memes, have discussions, and just have an overall good time. We also have a Twitch channel where you can find our lovely boy Leifon playing a variety of games. You won't want to miss that. And thank you so much to our sponsor Audible for sponsoring this podcast. Now, without further ado, let's introduce today's crew. Today, I have my boys, Wise Man Lee. How you doing?
Hey everyone. So happy to be back here again. It's been a while. I haven't done an episode with you guys, so I'm looking forward to today's episode.
Oh yeah, me too, honestly. And Tensa's back with us, everybody. How you doing, bud?
Oh, as usual. Always crack-a-lackin'.
You've been away too for a bit, so it's good to have you back.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. And you know what? This is going to be a fun episode since we're returning to an old topic, which is Star Wars Visions. The animation team collab from Disney, bringing together a bunch of different studios to create their own unique episodes taking place within the Star Wars universe. Now, last time we discussed this, we were discussing Season 1, which, to my surprise at least, I did not expect them to make a Season 2, which I'm not entirely mad about.
Me
But
neither.
I thought it was worth discussing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, where do we want to start with this topic? Do you want to start with favorite episodes, or what was your first overall impression? What was your first impression when you realized that there was a season 2 of Star Wars Visions?
You want to start, Spencer, or do you want me to take over first?
I mean, I don't mind because, to be fair, I had different expectations in overall. Because when they announced the season 2, I did expect it to be a lot like first season, but for a few episodes, because there were some episodes in season 1 in which I expected them to have a follow-up, or it seems to be like a two-parter. And once I actually watched the episode, that was not at all what I expected.
That is not the case at all. You're right.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Going into season 2, like I was pretty happy that they announced season 2. I was like, all right, perfect. So they must have seen that season 1 was very much a good success and good attention and reception from the audience. So they're like, we're gonna continue creating more anthology episodes in the Star Wars universe. And so we had discussed it last time in our podcast for season 1, like maybe they'll do a follow-up to certain episodes because it left kind of opened, not fully concluded, like didn't come all the way around in circle. But no, that was not the case. This next season 2, it was completely new episodes with new stories to tell. So now we know it's like, yeah, they're not gonna do more follow-ups to certain episodes that we probably would like to see.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't surprised because I feel like Disney is playing at is doing the same thing that Netflix is doing with Love, Death, Robots, where every episode is different animation studio, yada yada. But for them, their
Yeah.
theme is Love, Death, and Robots.
It was actually, that's the thing. I've realized that it was precisely that once I watched the episode.
Yeah, they're keeping up with it with the Star Wars theme, which honestly I will commend them for because it's a fun concept, and when I saw Netflix doing it, I was definitely hoping to see more of that. But also, like we were just talking about, I also was hoping that these type of collaborations would potentially create this opportunity for some of these smaller episodes to become a lot bigger. Stories that people, because I know in season 1, the first episode, which I'll be honest, I totally forgot what the name was, but
it's the one with the
that
Ronin,
one-
no?
Ronin.
The
It's
Ronin.
Yeah. Yes, that one was was a big fan favorite. That would have been a cool one to develop, along with a couple others that some of them slipped my mind, some of them vague memories, but that one I remember sticking with me because that one was so cool.
it also had that Afro Samurai. It was the big one. It was what introduced me to Vision.
Pretty much, yeah.
Exactly.
That was like their flagship episode. They're like, we know we have to put our best foot forward, so we're gonna show them probably this episode, which was the Kurosawa black and white samurai tale of the Jedi and Sith, and you knew like with that episode they would get people invested in it.
So do you
Sure.
think they did the same thing with this season? Like with their first episode, Sith, which kind of goes a little bit into, is almost a bit of a sister episode to the first episode of season one. It has a similar concept where your main character is, you don't know much about them, you know they have the Force, but it becomes revealed that they were a Sith, just like in the first episode of season one. I don't know. I find it kind of interesting that they would push the same concept into season two for their first episode.
Well, mind you,
I would say that it's actually pretty much the opposite. It's actually because instead of because yes, they have that similarity, but instead of going black and white with the Ronin, they're actually splashing it with color. Like
yes, I was
there
just
was
gonna
a
bring that
bigger
up.
emphasis of color.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they use
very
color to tell the story.
it's very bright, colorful, and the art style they use in this episode is completely the contrast of the episode one of season one. So that's the one
Yeah,
big difference we can point out.
but they relate to each other in a way. They're similar in a way because they
Thematically,
both have
yes, I'd say.
strong connections to color as well.
Very vaguely, I would
Mhm.
say, because because it's easy to make a exit story at this point, because with the Star Wars universe where there's a lot of empires and the Sith systems, that's why a lot of it is very similar. So for me, it was not exactly the same concept, but the same starting, because they
Yeah.
both because it still has the I already left the Sith, but the development is very different.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying they're the same. I'm just saying they have a similar
They
theme.
they have a starting concept story for sure.
No,
Yeah.
I think the subject matter is what's similar to like the back in season one to season two. This first episodes, the subject matter is kind of similar. Like you said, it's involving two Siths who, where one had left that life behind, and then a former master or friend or enemy shows up to like remind them of that. So it's paralleling along with those lines. And so
Mhm.
that's it. Thematically and the subject matter is pretty much what I find that's similar, but ultimately, like it's the art form that's
Overall,
very
I think it was a
different.
nice way to start.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a nice way to start the second season. Is something we're familiar with, but also with, it's new studio, new concept, new art style. I thought it was gorgeous.
So you can say that in a sense, it is basically the flagship, because maybe that the entire point was to replicate the concept while attempting to make a new story out of it.
Yeah,
yeah, pretty
I
much.
think it was really fun. And then everything after that, I found there were some good episodes, and there were some episodes that, just like the first season,
Couldn't care less.
it had me questioning. Well, it had me questioning their relationship with Star Wars.
Okay. Well, let's get into it then. Which episodes are you referring to?
I actually will going down the list, I'd go to episode 2.
All right.
But I will also preface it by saying I actually liked episode 2 only because I looked at it from a like a Brothers Grimm perspective. It looked like a like fairy tale lore with a Star Wars theme, which I thought was pretty cool, but at first it had me thinking the only if the only connection you can make to the story with Star Wars is a lightsaber, I don't know how strong that connection is.
I think that a lot of people see Star Wars visions in a wrong way, because a lot of these stories, as I mentioned for season one, a lot of them, if you remove the Star Wars element to the story, those stories are still good. If anything, I would say that they're vaguely, so like they're not Star Warsy enough to be Star Wars, but the elements of Star Wars are still in there. Like, I believe that for the second episode, the Screecher's Reach,
Mhm.
it didn't feel like a Star Wars episode at all. Even the lightsaber for me, it wasn't very Star Warsy. The Sith-like figure in the end, maybe, but even then, if you change the entire premise and you don't call it Star Wars, the story would have been better because it didn't feel like
You
it came
know,
from Star
I'll say this: episode 2 felt like a tragic tale because it starts with the girl and her few friends who are in a village. I don't know, they're like working or like pretty much she wants to escape her current life and find something better, right? And then we get introduced to the ghost, and at first I'm thinking, oh, we can see like a force ghost of someone that we're familiar or
That
something.
would have been cool.
That would have been cool, but then it was revealed that this ghost is just an old baggard witch who's the Sith right now and just like pretty much traps people, or I don't know what's her deal. But
And
but here's the thing: when that girl comes face to face with that Sith and defeats it, then it's revealed that what was she wearing? What was she wearing? The necklace, right? So then it was revealed that another Sith was contacting her through it and pretty much wanted her to take out that Sith so that that she would
She
know
could hone her powers of the dark side.
exactly that she has potential in her and that I could take her as an apprentice under her
apprentice.
wing. But
So
here's the thing. Hey, wait, Tensa. Here's the thing. The tragic tale is that she leaves her friends behind just to pursue that good life, which is pretty much following the path of a Sith. And
yes,
the look on her eyes and the look on her friend's eyes is like, yeah, we can't follow where you're going. And I felt that, man, that also made me feel sad actually.
Tragic.
well, there's a lot of reasons why, because keep in mind that the Sith Lord said that they're not coming. So there was that.
True, yeah, she said only you
And-
can come, yeah.
And I will mention that you can understand that there was a glaring weakness of character in there, because it was literally instead of sticking it out with her friend, she wanted a better life for herself. That's just the price.
Mm-hmm.
So she had no remorse.
really-
She had no remorse or regards for friends. Then it was just she was just thinking of herself.
Mm-hmm. It's that fight between, the dark side and the light. And I'll give kudos to the studio, Cartoon Saloon, because,
Mhm.
I mentioned it had this like Tales Grim vibe, like this old dark fairy tale vibe to it. And I remember that studio also was the people behind Wolfwalkers, which was I remember seeing, like, I don't remember if it was a short or a full movie, but it was a very similar esque story with it, very like foresty, like this big bad wolf or this wolf mother, this kid who could transform to, I don't know. It had a similar, that grim fairy tale vibe to it, and I could see that in what they created here. So they were staying true to their character, their art style, and what they can create. So, which I think is the point. So overall, it was a really nice story. I think it was probably the least connected to Star Wars, in my opinion.
I would agree, because even if you replace the minimal Star Wars elements with classical fairy tale element, you would not notice it. It was not a Star Wars episode. The way that I would say it, it's an episode with Star Wars element in it, but it's not a Star Wars episode. That's kind of what I was trying to get at.
Hey everyone, this episode is sponsored by Audible. If you're like me and you want to find yourself a pastime but don't have enough time in the day due to school, work, or commuting, let me present to you Audible. Now, many of you have heard about Audible, but I'm going to tell you a bit more about it. Audible is an American online audiobook and podcast service that lets you enjoy all your audio entertainment on one app, whether it be, for example, a few in my library are His Dark Materials, Percy Jackson, Aragon, Witcher, Lord of the Rings, and many more for you to discover. You can always find audio for books you have been wanting to read or podcasts you've been dying to listen to. You will also find all the Otaku Crew up-to-date episodes lists available on Audible. As an Audible member, you can also choose one title a month to keep from the entire catalog, which includes the latest bestsellers and new releases. If you follow our Audible link, www.audibletrial.com/officialotakucrew, you can start a free 30-day trial. So go to Audible now and start your free trial. We now return back to your scheduled episode.
So on that note, let's talk about an episode that was very much Star Wars because there was so many familiar characters. And you know that it would be episode 4, which was a more comedic
I Am Your Mother.
episode. I Am Your Mother.
I am your mother.
Excuse me, I am your mother!
That was funny as hell.
That one was really sweet, and also shout out to the studio of Wallace and Gromit.
Yes, and Chicken Run.
Definitely.
Jet Chicken, like iconic stop motion.
I
studio.
know. I kind of missed that kind of animation stop motion. When I saw it, I was like,
I miss
oh,
them.
I know, I missed him so much.
Which I find was lost in a lot of the other episodes where you don't see as many familiar characters from even the TV shows or the books or the old cartoons.
But you know,
That was fun.
episode 4, I Am Your Mother. As
Mhm.
much as I enjoyed the animation, I find that this episode could have just been like taken out, and it wouldn't have mattered because, yes, it does focus on the relationship between the mother and the daughter, but ultimately it's just about pod racing, which is what's it called, a staple trope, I guess, in Star Wars. But I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
I feel like if it wasn't there, then
I feel like that was one of those the more relaxing episodes. Like,
it is
not
fun,
something
yeah.
That
It's heartwarming.
Yes, because like it was not definitely like while it was not an episode I particularly enjoyed,
Mhm.
it was those turn your brain off episodes, and it was sweet in the end.
I will disagree with you, Wiseman, where I would miss this episode if it wasn't in season because I would miss the pod racing.
True. I don't
and
think
Chewbacca, baby
Chewbacca. Yeah, Chewbacca's
crashing a
funny.
ship into a building. It's just so lighthearted considering how dark you can make Star Wars,
Yeah.
but at the same time, Star Wars can be so fun. So
guess,
it's
yeah.
nice to have a really fun, lighthearted episode.
In the previous season, was
without
there?
all the darkness?
Sorry, in the previous season, was there an episode that was on pod racing? I don't remember.
Yes, and also it was also the comedic one. It was the music video with Jabba the Hutt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
was the
one
second
I did
episode.
not like. Yeah.
I forgot. Oh,
Yeah, that was the lighthearted episode, but that one made no sense.
it did. I don't think it sticked as well as this one, to be honest.
No, this one was a lot better. This one had a lot more to pay attention to. The other one was more
It's
funny.
more like a background thing.
But I like this one. I thought this one was really cute, and I'd totally be here for like an even longer episode of this animation studio.
I agree with that. Then
making
if
growing the
had
story just a little bit.
had they developed this episode to like a more feature length, it would have been I would have loved. Then I would have been.
It
That'd be
could've been
fun.
great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's potential in this. There's lighthearted potential, and I respect that.
So if you think about it, we're starting to see a pattern in Star Wars. Like we said, the first episode it's the same for season 1 and 2, kind of, and then you have those lighthearted Star Wars episode that may include pod racing or other stuff.
And the serious episodes always tends to be around in the middle. They always
That's true.
tend to. And like episode 3 for season 1, I think it was always about nature. This one, in the stars, it's literally about the destruction of nature and its return. So
Those damn factories.
Yes, the factories, the pollution, and I'm going to say that while I did not like the animation all that much, I at least really enjoyed the story.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I did enjoy the animation too, but the story it was quite well developed, I guess, for a self-contained episode.
Yes, yes, like it was a literal when the Fire Nations attacked.
If you think about it, yeah.
It's an adorable story. I don't mind the animation style. It's not one that I see a lot. but I thought the characters were really cutely created, like uniquely created, which I thought was really cool. It was a cute story. So can I get to one of my favorite episodes now? If we're going down the line of episodes, we are an anime podcast. So this isn't an anime studio, but this is a Korean studio. The
Yeah.
people behind Legend of Korra, they did the fifth episode, Journey to the Dark Head, which I, as much as I love Legend of Korra, love their animation style. I love this episode because it looked cool.
I
Story-wise, I could debate on the story, but I think it looked awesome.
Actually, it's also one of
What'd you
my
think?
favorite episodes too. No, I liked it. Yeah.
That is my favorite. That is my top favorite.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
I
anim-
wish it could have been developed a bit more,
Mhm.
like every good episode.
Right. I forgot. They made Voltron too.
They did make
They did,
Voltron,
yeah.
and Voltron
Oh,
was
wait a minute.
awesome.
They're the ones who made Boondocks. Oh, that's why. Oh. Okay, now it starts making. I got everything inverted. I just realized. That's funny. But
Are going through their list now?
but it was my favorite episode, the episode 5, because the storyboard was like, it was less like, yes, I love the animation of that one, but I like the idea of the internal struggle of a character
Mhm.
and how, and similar to the one on season 1, there's always this weird prophecy thing, and they're trying to resolve something by prophecy, but there's always a detail that they miss and they always catch at the end.
Which I think is pretty classic Star Wars, if you ask me, with
Yes.
with the prophecies and everything. So they were pretty true to that.
Yes,
They were true to quite a bit.
If anything, I would say that they were true to a lot of it, because this one was literally like, how I can say that episode 2 was so not Star Wars centric that we could debate on whether it's Star Wars or not. This one feels like you're set in a Star Wars universe with a classic Star Wars story, just with new characters.
Yeah, no, I think this
And-
episode, Journey to the Dark Head, it felt like the most Star Warsy anyway, because it follows the same tropes and stuff that we've seen in Star Wars. You know, a young Padawan loses a master, the adversary pretty much tells him, "Oh, just pretend you join my side," and he's like, "Never." And then we have a great lightsaber battle in this episode. So I'm like, yeah, this was great, and it felt like the most animation anyway because of the studio behind it and the art behind it and everything. It felt like very like an anime episode too, compared to the other animation studios. You know, like that's my takeaway from it.
Oh yeah, and let me tell you, the voice acting behind that actually like screwed me up a little bit. I was like, I recognize so many of
I have a question for
recognize
you.
these voices.
I have a question
Yes.
for you. Didn't the Padawan kind of sound like Vic Mignogna at certain points?
The pilot?
No, Journey,
The Jedi,
the Jedi,
I think.
the
The
Padawan.
Jedi. You want to know? Do you want to know who actually voices the Jedi?
I looked it up.
Do you guys?
It's some Asian guy. I don't know. I'm not familiar who it is, but
Eugene Lee Yang from the Try Guys,
oh,
the YouTube channel.
really?
That's what I saw, but I looked it up.
Oh,
I'm not familiar with the Try Guys, but if he's someone from YouTube,
Yeah.
that's
that's-
interesting. It's great for
nice.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, and the one who I'm pretty sure this is the one who voiced the Sith was Jin Soo, who I recognize his voice because
No, wait,
he's
wasn't
from Lost.
Sorry, wasn't Daniel Day Kim in this episode? Wasn't he the Sith?
Yeah, that's also his name. Oh yeah, sorry. Like Jin Soo is the character he played in Lost. Sorry,
Oh,
you're right.
okay. So
I got confused.
All right, yeah, there you
Because
go.
I'm looking at the two names, but you're right. It's Daniel Day Kim who played the Sith, who also isn't he set to be the new Fire Lord in the live action?
Heck yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we like for those who know, like there are people who are fans of Daniel Day Kim because he's been in a bunch of like TV shows and whatnot, like Hawaii Five-O and stuff.
I thought he was super handsome in Hawaii Five-O, not gonna lie. I did have a crush on him. He's still a handsome dude.
He is
Let's
though.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest. And he has a nice voice, and every time I hear him voice acting, is amazing.
Mhm.
And I'm so sorry for like calling him the wrong name, the name of his character from Lost instead of his.
No worries, no worries. You got confused me for a bit, but I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure Daniel Day Kim was the one who was voicing him. Unless he was playing someone else in the show, then I may have been confused. But
No, you're
anyway,
right.
yeah.
You're right. Daniel Day Kim, and I'm losing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I and also Ashley Park was played the
The girl?
Pilot?
yeah, Ara,
Ara.
which
Ara.
which I'm
Darn
pretty
you,
sure
Tensa.
she is. I recognized her voice from something, but I'll be honest, I can't place it.
No, but I agree. The voice acting here behind this was pretty great, and they were all Asians, which is ironic because Asians playing like anime characters and stuff. Yeah, it fits.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, no
I'm
complaints
happy
here.
with that.
It works.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was a really nice episode, and I'm really happy to see Studio Mir doing things. I love their and almost everything that they've created. I love. Maybe it's just the art style.
So should
So
we?
do you want to
Yeah,
go down to the next episode?
Sure, let's go down more on the list.
So I actually would because I know we skipped. No, we actually didn't. Like we've been going up and down through the episodes as we're going. So
Pretty much, yeah.
the next one I thought was gorgeous, and Tenze, you and I were kind of talking about this before we started
Yeah.
recording, but the Spy
Yeah.
Dancer
Yeah,
was
that one
especially nice.
was beautiful. Yeah, that one was actually beautiful.
What did you think about that, Wiseman? Do
Um,
you share in our opinion?
I mean, the storytelling was pretty chill. Like it's pretty much somewhat like you have this. What is this? Like a theater or casino where all the Empire troops go there, right, for a good time. Like it's an entertainment, right? Kind of venue. And so little do we know that the main attraction, the main star, she's pretty much working for the rebels. And then like I did enjoy the dancing scenes, and then when the action part came, that's when it's revealed that her son is that got taken away from her. And it's again, it's another tale of tragedy, I guess, also. But
Yeah,
this
very
one,
another family story.
yeah, but this one is kind of more hopeful because she gives him a way to return back to me. Like it gives us the audience hope that they'll reconnect and everything.
What do you think about Tenze?
Yeah, about that. I kind of like how they kind of mix the Matahari themes into it. When you start seeing the flashbacks and the family things, it became just way too personal.
Mhm.
But but that's kind of what Wars does. And so the idea that there was even a reunion was what made it the most heartwarming, even though that the nature of the reunion is not really a reunion because, well, the son does not remember his mother.
The son doesn't know anything. But
So
I think the son knew that he was different from everyone else in the Empire, because you know how like some he has certain traits that the mother also
Well, his
had.
horns were like
Yeah,
his horns were taken off,
Taken
and you
off.
saw the scars on his head.
yeah.
and on top of that, he no longer has his yellow greenish eye either. Like,
Yeah, because he has an eye patch and everything. Yeah, sure. That means
Yeah.
it was taken out. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
essentially, they forced him to make him normal in gruesome ways.
That's rough,
A
bud.
question for you guys: does this episode kind of parallel to certain histories in the modern world? Like, for example, where the natives were their children were kind of taken away and indoctrinated, or pretty much educated them to think that their way of life is not the correct way, and then you should be doing this. Does it have that kind of vibe similarities? If you guys know what I mean, like.
Oh, absolutely. And this episode is not the only one that has that
Much
similar
worse.
vibe.
Much
The second episode had the same vibe. Sorry, not
Yeah.
second episode, third episode, in
Yeah.
the stars, same vibe where you
Yeah.
had all the natives getting wiped out by
Yeah.
the colonists who've taken and destroyed the land, and it's
Well,
it's a very it's the
say
same.
that
Yeah.
I would say that 6 is much worse because I don't even think that the 6 does reflect the natives so much as it reflects war in general. Because it's one thing taking your culture away from you, but taking your family away from you is universal to all.
Mm. And I'll say this about the
Mhm.
third episode, though. Yes, it has that, but I think it's more of a commentary on so called corporation and capitalism and how we regard how we utilize our resources and disregard the environment altogether. You know,
Yep.
it's kind of like that.
I
Yeah.
think all of the concepts we were discussing, they all tie into, they're all correct. We're all correct. It all reflects into, and almost every Star Wars episode reflects somewhere in real life somewhere, which
So,
makes
so
sense. Makes
yeah.
sense. That's how art works.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, because that's kind of because it's not just escapism. Sometimes there's a commentary on issues, and the
Exactly.
best way to explain them is through animation. And that's what
And
episode 6 did best.
I really liked the art style of this episode. I thought it was really pretty. I thought it was really unique.
Yeah. No, I like the art too.
And I think that the dancing with that was really elegant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I will argue, well, I'll argue what you said earlier, Tensei, where the story got too personal. I would say the story was paced too fast. It started slow, and then the moment it got to the flashbacks, everything started to go really fast. Like you were thrown
What I
in,
mean
you
by
were
too
given a
personal.
lot of information all at once.
Mm.
That's what I mean because that's what I was trying to explain. It's that it felt like a completely different episode by the end.
And I mean, it's hard to fit a really complex story into a small episode, which makes sense. This story would have benefited from being
Taking-
longer
Yes,
Hmm.
so just
if they
to take
had
its
the ability to
time.
do that. But I would love to have seen a longer episode of this, more drawn out, more history, more backstory, more lore of the race and what happened to them and why they seem to be the last ones there, still trying to survive when the First Order is just taken over. Very cool, very gorgeous. La Cachette was a really nice studio. Parisian studio, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it's
Oh,
French.
that's cool.
It's in the name, like the hiding place.
Yeah, yeah, La Cachette. So, do we want to move on to the next episode, or do we want to skip to
Yeah,
the pit? Do you want to skip to the pit?
I'll be
I'd
honest.
rather skip to the pit because
Yeah.
the of Golab I couldn't follow.
All right, so let's skip to
Well,
the one
I'll just say-
episode made by the studio that does. What does the studio do again? They've done Tokyo
JoJo's
Ghoul,
Bizarre Adventure.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What else did you mention, Tensa?
Oh my god, I just forgot, and I was like,
One Piece, Attack on Titan, Seven Deadly Sins, Golden Wind, Overlord.
No, they made Thor Ocean, I believe. But yes, they did Overlord.
Yes.
What else?
Oh, it was
Castlevania,
Fire Force. Fire Force?
and Castlevania. Yes, Fire
Yes,
Force and
Castlevania. There we go. Castlevania was the one I wanted to mention too. So
Yes.
this is the
also
only art studio that took place in season 2 that actually was a Japanese art studio that
Mm.
Yeah.
that an anime studio. What did you guys think of it?
I think it was okay. There wasn't much story to tell for this episode, though. You know, like it's just a bunch of people who are being forced to dig because the Empire is excavating kyber crystals, and yeah, I don't know, like pretty much at the end it gave us a good ending though because those that were stuck behind in the pit that were forced to dig, at least they were able to escape thanks to the help of the city folks. And yeah, not much I can say. I will say this, like for the character that we were focused on, the main guy, we thought he was the main hero, right? But literally they kind of killed him off midway point in the episode. So I was like, oh man, that's harsh. And it's a good thing we didn't see the death. Like they kind of cut that away, but yeah.
I would have been
What'd
more
you
happy
think,
if I saw the death.
Was that?
I would have been much more happy if I saw the death, actually.
Whoa, man, yeah, that's dark.
Dude, that's how I am. Like, you want to see the full details.
You want to see some blood splashing, man?
But the way that I see that, it's. Have you ever seen the movie Home?
Home?
Holes.
Holes.
Holes. Oh, yeah, it does remind me of that.
It-
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
An episode.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious because of that. But my first impression was literally Holes meets Static Shock because I felt like it had that art style that is very similar to Static Shock, and I realized, wait a minute, that's literally Castlevania style artwork. But
Yeah, when you were describing it, Wiseman, when you were describing the episode, I'm sure Tenza and I were giggling for the same reasons because we were both thinking of holes.
so that's why I kind of in the end I like it was not one of my favorites. But at the very same time, it's like you saw the premise, and while it had a okay ending, it was just a classic Holes movie. If you, it was the second least Star Warsy episode, I would say.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing that has Star Wars was like what the troops, I guess, and that's it. And the kyber
And the
crystals.
Kyber crystal.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
it.
it.
That's it.
That's really
This
there was no Jedi, no Force.
yeah.
It was really a classic.
To be honest,
working
if you remove this episode from the list, like I wouldn't feel bad about it too. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense because there's not much story to tell here. It's very self-contained and there's no like plot evolution. There's no like I don't know. I just felt meh at the end.
Are you a little disappointed that studio didn't come up with something better?
Yeah, to be honest, I
Very
didn't know I didn't know that the same anime studios that you guys mentioned did this episode. Then after hearing this now, yeah, I would say yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. I wish they had sunk their teeth into
Very.
better storytelling.
Very. I wish that they would really like put some life into it.
Think of it this way: if this animation studio had done Journey to the Dark Head episode, yo,
Oh, that would be
there you go.
That's a great idea. I'm with that.
Great lightsaber fight, great Star Wars storytelling right there. Then that would have been it, man.
And if we're lucky, we might even have some time stop shenanigans.
We could, yeah. But this
Oh,
this
but-
one was pretty much straight to the point, serious. You know, it had the same emotional tangles, but I just think like this story that could have been told for like 5-10 minutes. It wasn't worth it to be in the list. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I guess it was okay.
No,
I'll say this. It's okay. I'll say this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I understand what you say. With considering what that studio is known for, I understand why we would have probably expected more to
yeah.
come out of it.
hmm
And yeah, so it's a little disappointing. If this episode wasn't a part of the season, I don't think any of us would have noticed.
It was that lackluster.
Yeah, which is a little sad.
Yeah.
It is what it is, though. At least, at least we have Studio Mir coming in with Journey to the Dark Head,
Yes,
carrying the
which
team.
which kind of saves it.
Pretty much.
So, do you want to quickly go over the other two episodes? You have Bandits of the Golak, which by Studio 88 Pictures, the same people who've done DreamWorks Troll Hunters. And,
I'm curious to know, do we all agree that this is probably our least favorite episode? At least it is for me. I think you two are kind of are in the same page with me, but what do you all
I don't want to
think?
say least favorite, but more forgettable, I think would be more polite. I love the style.
Because
I think the colors were really nice. The fights were great, but it was forgettable.
I don't know about least favorite because I think my least favorite is actually Alstom.
Okay, we'll get to that soon. So anyway, the Bandits of Golak, it's probably my least favorite. I'll just say.
But I will agree that it was the most boring.
Boring. Yeah, it's boring, and I didn't even like the animation style. I'm like, what is this? It was all like with 3D CGI animation, right? It's all like computer generated. That's what it felt like. That's it.
Which is what they're fairly known for.
Okay.
But
that's their specialty. It's just that as I mentioned earlier, I couldn't get my head into that episode.
And then the story behind that episode, it just wasn't
Was
that
not that
entertaining.
great.
It was not. Yeah, it was not entertaining. You had this old grandma who pretty much
You know what? Thinking about that, I think I might actually agree with you. I think I might agree that this is actually the worst episode. Yeah.
There you go.
I see why, because it has so many bad points that it's like this was like what I would call the flat episode of the season.
It's a big dip, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like, I had problems with some key plot points. Like, you have this grandma, remember, who just starts taking out her cane, which turned out to be a lightsaber, and starts wrecking the other person. I didn't see that coming, but I was like, yeah, as an old grandma,
What a twist!
yes, you have such what do you call it? Such life, such stamina to like go toe to toe against the Sith.
Big teeth, grandma. That's literally what
Yeah.
like.
That's it. So I mean, yeah, I agree with you guys. This episode's forgettable. It doesn't hit anywhere in your top 5.
Yeah,
If
there has to be
if
one of those in
Yeah.
every season.
The
remove that episode and no one would care.
the only plus thing I'll say is that it has diversity going for it because it shows Indians, which I guess we haven't seen that much in Star Wars.
I haven't seen that much in Indians anyway, so the fact that that's an entry, that's a plus.
I actually wonder where that studio's from.
That studio is 88 Pictures. Yeah, it says Indian.
Yeah, 88 Pictures, but I just want to know where
Yeah.
it's from because there's a big theme. There's a big international collaboration with this season, where there's a lot of like Studio 88's known for quite a bit actually. Most of their stuff on Netflix.
And I've realized that for like for example episode 2, it made sense that why there's a lot of fairy tales in this one.
Wait, here you go. We got sorry,
This is
not to
from
interrupt you.
It has Ireland has a lot of stories. That's probably why it was the least Star Warsy, for example, because it has a lot of like Irish story elements into it. Because there's a lot because like even the ghost thing kind of had like a banshee feeling. To make a fairy tale a Star Wars fairy tale.
Wait, are we still talking about
No, I'm
bandits
giving
or-
I'm giving an example about how studios are maybe trying to do their own thing while mixing it.
Yeah, which I think is totally fine. I did want to just jump in and say yes, 88 Pictures is an Indian-based animation.
Yeah. Okay.
What you don't see, and they're very
I mean,
popular.
Kudos
They've done a lot of
kudos to
stuff.
them for getting like a try on it, but was not impressed though with the
Stick to your bigger movies. Stick to your bigger stuff.
yeah.
You're kicking ass in that department. This was not the best.
But I appreciate them for trying.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Kudos
what
for
I'm gonna
that. A for effort.
Of course.
say. Guys, what are your thoughts on Ow's song?
I actually think the animation's really cute. I think it looks adorable.
I didn't mind the episode, to be honest. It's not the best episode to end the season with, I'd say, but I didn't mind it. It's cute.
I guess it was too sugary for my taste.
Okay.
like diabetes sugar.
Yeah. I'll say
Oh yeah, too sweet. Yeah.
I'll say this, Tensa, though. We got more backstory on the Kyber crystals on this episode.
Yes, which that's a plus for it. And
It is a plus.
And I like the idea of a story expansion.
Well, I mean, so apparently the Kyber crystals, what we know is that they're like pure crystals, right? But then the Sith somehow tainted them all. That's why you see them all being red. So the only way to purify them is through like some sort of like harmonic tone, and like the song the girl was playing, it was through like harmonic tone and frequency that will purify the crystals back to their original state. I was like, wow, that's some great like backstory lore addition to the Star Wars universe. I'll give them a plus for that.
Yeah, that's beautiful expanding the lore like that. That's of
Yeah.
course I will admit that the animation style was not my thing.
Yeah, I agree. But like I said, I didn't mind it.
But for
I
what
liked it,
they've
but yeah.
done with the story, it was worth it.
Yeah.
I like this animation style, but I would see it more like you said, it's very childish.
Yeah,
But it's also very unique. I haven't seen a stop motion animation style like this, so it's
I mean,
I don't know, I really
it's
like it.
similar to Wallace and Gromit and Chicken Run, that kind of, but just slightly off. I think the reason they had to go through with this animation is to show the vibrant colors of the kyber crystals. You know, like when they light up, when it's like when they're harmonized tuning to her song and voice. So maybe that's why maybe Disney was like, okay, this is probably the best studio to fit the narrative with that kind of animation. You know, does that make sense?
I can
Yeah.
see where you're going with that.
Mhm.
I can see that.
Overall, it was cute.
So I have a question.
Kudos to Studio Tigerfish.
Right.
Oh no, Triggerfish. Sorry, not Tigerfish. My dyslexia got in the way. Triggerfish. I apologize.
It's okay.
It's okay. We'll forgive you for
would
that.
make the same mistake.
I have a
I
question
would
for you
make
guys though.
Mhm.
Was there any studios? Was there any studios that from season 1 came back to do season 2? I don't think there was
Mm,
anyone in particular, right?
No,
Like,
I
Actually,
don't think so.
I thought that we covered no the studio JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because I'm going to
Pit?
mispronounce it. They did season 1, I'm sure.
oh, Dark Horse, you mean? Is that what you mean? I forgot what
Not
the name
sure
is.
which episode that they did actually.
Yeah.
Just a sec.
Because I feel like we talked about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure did an episode in season 1. The same studio that did that. I mean, it's also good.
So the same studio that did an episode in season 1, they did the Pit. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
No. None of them. No. None.
Weird.
Surprisingly.
So are we to assume that Disney wouldn't go back to those same studios for more storytelling and animation? Would
think that's
they
the
try to
confirmed-
collab with more new animations and more like unknown animations that haven't gotten their shot? Is that where you think Disney's heading?
I think that's the confirmed pattern that they're going with.
Well, I think because this season was very international. It had studios from all over. Every studio came from different country.
Yeah.
None of them were American.
Oh,
From what I saw.
so this season they had no American studios then. It's all been
Yeah.
international. Okay, that's interesting.
Is that so?
Yeah, from what I saw,
Technically-
none of them were.
Technically,
American.
I can argue that the one that owns JoJo is technically American. That's a weird one.
I will let Japan have that studio.
Technically,
But yeah.
it's still Japan, but it's like Japan and America. It's weird. And I'm like, because of the Castlevania part, that's why it's kind of confusing.
Oh wait, is it?
Yeah.
So wait, David Productions is in America? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that
That's the studio that
Dark
handles
Age-
JoJo, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
talking about
also
Dark
One
Justice.
Piece, Attack on Titan.
Yes.
I conf-
So that is a Japanese art studio. They but they just also
they
did
might-
Castlevania.
It's weird because I'm pretty sure that's American owned an American owned Japanese studio. It's kind of weird.
Okay, I think I confused it earlier for Dark Horse Production. I think that's what I heard. I was like, oh, they the one that do JoJo? I was like, oh, okay. Yeah,
Dark Production, that would have been funny. Yo,
yeah, you like the name?
That would have been fire.
I was really happy to see a lot more different studios, getting introduced to different studios, which I think is another big thing that these types of series allows us to explore. From Love, Death, Robots to Star Wars Visions, you get to experience and recognize all these different studios, and actually you recognize them and you actually look them up. You think like, oh, I know that, like how we all knew that was Wallace and Gromit, the same studio that did Wallace and Gromit. They do their own thing. They're very unique. You recognize them so easily. Same thing with same thing with Studio Mir. I looked at them. My first idea was, oh, Avatar, Last Airbender. But that was Nickelodeon technically.
Yeah, it was. It's true. Yeah.
It's a weird one. It's also that's kind of why it was weird. For me, if I had expected it going on a Love, Death, and Robots formula, I would have been more impressed. But because I was thinking of the other direction entirely, that's kind of why I was like, I had my slight disappointment.
Yeah, so you were expecting this might have been more of an extension from season 1 rather than.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
I think
literally
would
what I
be
hope for.
interesting.
I mean,
I think that'd be interesting thing to explore eventually.
yeah. I mean, look, we weren't completely let down because we were like, what, half and half? They're like, oh yeah, they might explore maybe in part 2 of that, but then once we see the titles of the episode, we're like, oh yeah, this looks nothing familiar from what we saw in season 1. So
Yeah,
that's it.
and there was no part 2.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
that's okay.
So are we to assume that season 3 will be on its way? I guess I'm pretty sure this season 2 must have gotten a great reception from the audience too, and it's probably another success for Disney.
Well, we'll definitely have to see. If we do get a
Yeah.
season 3, would you want to expect the same format, or do you think that they would maybe have 1 or 2 episodes that might actually be part 2s?
I wouldn't mind
Because
that.
Love, Death, Robot does have part 2s and part 3s in their series.
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't mind that. They can go that route if some studios took that chance. But honestly, maybe make a longer length, more lengthy episodes too. If not,
I would definitely want them to make more than 13 to 18
minutes.
minute episodes
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
I think Journey to
But-
the Dark Head was the longest. It's like 21 episodes as listed. Is there anything that's
Yeah,
longer?
this one was a true anime episode.
Yeah.
Like, you put the commercials in between and it's perfect.
Yeah.
And so, what do you
But,
guys think about the art styles? Because the first season was very anime,
Yeah.
and this one was more eclectic. There was more variations. There was stop motion, animation, 3D animation. Would you want it to continue down that road of exploring more animation styles, or would you prefer it return back to more anime based?
I would say it's like a mix of both, an amalgate, what's the word? Amalgam of everything. Like you could still have some different animations, but then if you were doing, let's say, half the season anime and half the season of the other half, like, bunch of collection of animation studios doing their own kind of art, animation and art behind it, then that would be good. And again, the animation in this season, some of them were hit and miss. So
while I do personally prefer it going on the road much like season 1, because that's literally what I've loved about Vision, I don't mind going the other route, because none of the episodes follow each other because they're all their own stories, and I don't mind getting to know more studios. At this point, it only makes sense that it just expands to more and more different styles every time, and who knows?
yeah, I agree.
Maybe they'll do a 3D anime kind of like Superhero.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Anything could happen. They can get any animation studio. It's Disney. They have so much money.
Oh yes, I can already imagine the kind of shenanigans that would happen if Toei joined in on this.
Oh my goodness. Can only imagine. Hey, season 3. Let's wait for season 3. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's wait to see. I'm assuming it's
Yeah,
gonna
well-
take another like 2 years because what's the called? The gap between season 1 and season 2 of this was what, 2 years. So season 3, if it's coming on its way, will be around 2 years after this. So 2025.
Yeah.
It's also that I will note something. Season 2 has 3 episodes less than season 1.
Does
and
it?
That was the one.
I thought they were the
Yeah,
same number of episodes.
They only had 9 episodes. Instead of having 12 episodes like a regular full season show, this one had 3 episodes missing.
But how? Because now I'm looking at season 1. I see 9 episodes listed.
I'm pretty sure I saw 12.
No, I
Oh,
see.
no.
I
never mind.
I see 9.
It's 9. Never mind. Never mind.
Oh, you had me
Scared, yeah, me
scared
scared.
for a
Yeah, I'm like,
second.
what? Then I'm like, yo, where'd the
Fine.
budget go for the other 3 episodes? Didn't have the budget for that.
Never mind. I think
But
I'm
would
being
you-
too much of an
But I have a question for you,
ordinary anime.
Tensa. Question: would you prefer more episodes then, like more than 9 for next season?
Yes, I largely would.
Okay. I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree for sure. Yeah, I think everyone would want more episodes, but yeah, it really depends on the
and
animation
maybe-
studios and their budgets. Yeah.
And maybe it's really my wish on it having more episodes that hit so hard. But yeah, so I think that I think that I should at least see it more as short films, as short animations,
Mm-hmm.
instead of. Hence, why I shouldn't really expect a sequel to, like, for example, I'm not expecting a sequel to any of the season one or of the season two in season three, because I think they're made to be like short stories. Like, like when you go on, let's say, a Fantasia festival and you see a
Yeah,
short movie.
I could see
I
this in that
think
kind of
that's what
festival.
they're. I think yeah, that's the thing. This would work in such a festival
Yeah.
because it seems to be something like that.
Yeah, that would be really cool. All right, do you think we should conclude it here, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think we're good. I don't have any other last thoughts this season. Well, I mean, I'll conclude this. Like this season, yeah, pleasantly enjoyed it. There were some hit and misses though in certain episodes, but definitely worth your time if you are an avid fan of Star Wars. I'd say I would definitely recommend it then.
And you, Tensei, any last words?
I would say that it's worth a watch, but definitely see it as an experimental project and not a continuation of season.
I think
second
you're
that.
right.
Yep.
It's a really nice project. I like how they're exploring all these different studios and they're really branching out. And if this does go to a season 3, I'd like to see them. I'd be really curious to see what other kind of studios they would be able to muster up.
Instead of season 3, if the animation studio got their chance to make a movie out of their art style and make a movie in the Star Wars universe, that'd be pretty cool too. But I don't know if Disney's ever gonna give them that chance.
I think it would take a long time to have all of the studios combined to make such a short.
Well, it doesn't have to be all studios. It could just be one studio that handles just one movie.
But it'd be really cool if you had all the studios do it.
Yeah,
but that'd be a lot of movies then. Yeah.
Yeah, well, imagine a series where every episode it follows the exact same story, but the art style changes.
Oh,
I would love that actually. I would.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
That I could see being like in festivals or something like that for like in competitions just to see which would win. Yeah.
Yes, and you know that they're the same character, but being done in all different. No, that would be worth it. That would be 100%.
Well, let's hope for a future where something of that comes to pass and we can enjoy that together and we could talk about it here in another episode. All right, guys. Well, I'll end it here. Thank you all so much for listening. Let us know what you thought about Star Wars Vision Season 2 and what you might want us to talk about next. You can let us know by reaching out to us on our socials, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And while you're still here, you could check out our Twitch channel and our Discord channel. Links will be in the description, or simply just look us up at the official Otaku Crew. We look forward to seeing you there. Until next time, bye.
Take care, everyone.